Good morning. Happy birthday, America, and happy 250th anniversary. Amazing that we came this far, and the next 250 years are going to be outstanding, I'm sure. So I'm just going to give you guys a little update on what's going on with Terra Ledger. So just to, so Terra Ledger, we're a startup. We're not a mining startup. We are more of we're a sourcing facilitator, I'd say. So what we do is we actually help the local economy retain the processing margins within the country that we're located at. And our pilot site is in North Kivu in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So again, short overview, what is Terra Ledger? We are a sourcing facilitator. How do we do that? We manufacture modular processing platforms that we ship to the Democratic Republic of Congo, and we buy from the supply that's already in country. So we're starting with processing. So our prototype platform is going to process coltan ore. And so that's pretty much what we're going to do. We build processing platforms, we commission them in country, and we allow the local economy to enjoy processing margins. So again, New Hampshire startup, our model is going to be twofold. Our revenue model twofold. Number one, uh, so we're building the prototype at the moment with the help of the University of New Hampshire, or we're going to start doing it soon. I'm waiting for a shipment for R&D that they're going to help with. So our revenue model, number one, because we have to validate the prototypes that we're going to be commissioning in country. So we're going to be helping the local economy process critical minerals into critical materials. So in order to validate our prototype, so we can start leasing it throughout the Republic of Congo and also neighboring countries like Burundi, Uganda, maybe even Rwanda. So first, we have to validate our platforms, make sure that they work properly, make sure that the output is up to industry standards, excuse me, American industry standards. So number one, our revenue will be from leasing our platforms to the to um, extractors. So whoever is within the mining corridor of the Great Lakes region in Africa, if they have been exporting um, unprocessed ore, they will be able to lease our platforms so that they can actually process, so that they can process from what they bring out of the ground. So we don't need to ship it to China any longer. It can be processed in country. You can process what you bring out of the ground as an extractor with our platforms. So number one, revenue is going to be from leasing our platforms. Now, before we get to the leasing, we do have to validate our platforms. And so we're going to have a couple of platforms in specific places that are going to be run by Terra Ledger. And so the output that comes out of our pilot platforms, we are going to be selling to American manufacturers. So that's going to be our revenue model. Number one, the actual output from our prototypes. And number two, leasing revenue for leasing our technology within the Great Lakes region of Africa. So we are going to have intellectual property on our balance sheet. And this goes back to the processing platforms. So we're obviously software. We will be patenting the actual refining process that our platforms will be using. So we'll have intellectual property on our balance sheet. So the timeline of the Terra Ledger story. So in Q4 2025, we incorporated. We strategy for a couple of months. And also earlier this year, we are in negotiation with the negotiations are pretty much they're ongoing, but I am pretty sure I'm actually waiting on an email from someone very important. So we we need we need to have a lot where we can commission our platforms. And we want to be very close to the extracting sites. So we're looking at Rubaya Mine that I visited last year in September. So we wanted to be very close to Rubaya Mine, and so we're going to be leasing a site where we can ship our prototypes and where we can actually commission them. So that's what was going on earlier this year. And then, as I'm waiting for the shipment for R&D, as soon as I get that, I will be able to contact with the University of New Hampshire, or specifically the John Olson Advanced Manufacturing Center that I visited. This was maybe perhaps in March of this year that I visited. So once we have R&D available for testing, and by R&D, I mean actual ore that were so ore from three sites that I'm waiting on. One of them, of course, is Rubaya Mine, but also there are mining sites very close to Rubaya Mine, actually. And so in order to build I don't want to say the perfect processing platform, we do have to have um, information in terms of the composition of the ore for specific sites. So that's what I'm waiting on. Once that arrives in the United States, I'll be able to have it tested for the specificity of the ore, and then we can start working on building the first prototype. And so while we're also getting closer to the end of the year, we are going to start our seed round. So the seed round proceeds will be used to fund the research at the University of New Hampshire, the John Olson Advanced Manufacturing Center. So it will be primarily to fund the research and build the prototype, ship it to the Democratic Republic of Congo because we plan on commissioning it sooner rather than later. So I'm hoping for that to happen early in January, maybe February at the latest, but I do want the first prototype, which we're calling a TRPRO, actually on the property that we will be leasing in Masisi in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So in order to ship it overseas, it has to be tested here. Then it has to be um, packaged so that it can be shipped properly. Once it gets to the Democratic Republic of Congo, it has to be reassembled too. So that is a process in itself. So I want all of that to happen in time for us to commission the prototype in Q1 2027. And then I'm planning on a whole year of data so that we can validate our processing platforms. So this is just the short overview, which is New Hampshire startup, dual revenue. And again, the dual revenue will be from the leasing of our processing platforms and also selling the outputs that will be processed with Terra Ledger's prototypes. So there's that, and we will have intellectual property on our balance sheet. So the timeline of what has been going on for the past couple of months, almost a year actually. So we incorporated in 2025. Earlier this year, we were working on the market strategy. We've been negotiating to get a commercial lease in Masisi, the Democratic Republic of Congo, where we can ship our platforms and commission them. We will be collaborating with UNH's John Olson Advanced Manufacturing Center, so they are located in Durham. And then at the same time, we will be taking in funding. So if you're looking for a startup in the critical material space, Terra Ledger does tick a couple of boxes. So you can just reach out and we can talk terms. And we are planning on commissioning our first prototype in Q1 of 2027, and we're gonna take a whole year. That's what I would be comfortable with in terms of validating the data of our processing platforms. All right, so now I'm going to move to the next side of this document here. It has a little more detail. Just bear with me here. So, and I hope that, okay, there we go. Let's move that here a little bit. Just bear with me, guys. Okay, so let's make sure that, okay, hopefully you can see me and let's just go through with this. So again, we are incorporated. We have one prototype in development. We are calling that prototype TRPRO. Okay. And what it actually is a processing. So it will process critical mineral ore into critical materials. Okay. And specifically, what we're going to be producing is tantalum pentoxide and also niobium pentoxide, but primarily tantalum pentoxide is what the output is going to be. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm waiting on samples that we need for research and development so that we can also build the IP of our processing platform. I am waiting on 20 ore samples from places that are within 30 miles. I would say within not even 30, 20, 25 miles of so the distance is 25 miles between from point A to point B in terms of where the ore comes from. It is specific in that way because we are aware that um, the ore the endemic ore is going to be different in terms of composition depending on where you're getting it from. So a couple of places that it's coming from. So we are going to need to validate our prototype, and we have decided that 300 tons of tantalum pentoxide processed through our platforms should be enough to validate our processing platform, and we expect to be shipping the tantalum pentoxide throughout the year in 2027. Our goal is to have 300 tons shipped throughout 2027. And we're going to be selling those to manufacturers here in America. And so by the end of the year, we will be able to validate our processing platform and also if there needs to be any adjustments on what needs to be produced because we do want it to be the highest purity available, then we can work on that throughout the year so that by the end of the year, we will be where we want to be and we will be able to go for a Series A fundraising round. So I do have a business plan that is pages and pages long, and most people just go to AI for it, which is fine. So if you want to read our comprehensive business plan, which does have us availing the U.S. marketplace with 4,000 tons of tantalum pentoxide by year ended 2029. If you can see that here, by 2029, that's how much we will be availing the US market. And we'll also be work availing the US market with the niobium pentoxide as well. So the sites that we will be working on, at least for the prototype validation, the ore is so once the Colton ore does have niobium elements in it. So when we're processing the coltan ore, you can actually get niobium as a byproduct. So we do want to commercialize that as well. But the goal is to have 4,000 tons of tantalum pentoxide available to the US market by year ended 2029, which actually comes in right on time, depending on what will be going on in Europe. So we actually have already identified 10 potential customers that will lease our prototype. But before we can get to that point, we do have to validate our processing platform. So we already have identified 10 customers. Okay. And we are taking in sponsor packages. So if you are a startup, or you don't even have to be a startup, if you are in the defense manufacturing sector and you think that sponsoring Terra Ledger would be beneficial for your company, you could reach out. And actually, what I'm going to do is I am going to change. Because it is our anniversary and 250 years does not happen all the time, I'm going to change this number here to 250, $250 USD. So if your company is within the defense manufacturing sector, may whatever you're making, or if you're actually going to be one of our customers down the line, because we will be selling the output from our prototypes. And so we will be having tantalum pentoxide, niobium pentoxide to sell. It's going to be sold from our warehouse here in New Hampshire. So all of the invoices will be from New Hampshire, which does not have a sales tax, by the way. So you're very welcome. So if you're one of those companies, um, you can sponsor Terra Ledger. So our marketing package is actually 50,000 USD, but just for the next couple of days in honor of our forefathers and the fathers of this nation, and our anniversary of 250 years, I'm just going to change that to $250. So if you want details on what that marketing package it will entail, so it's pretty much if you want us to include your logo in our communications, our documents, if you want us to use your equipment to test in the field, because we are going to be in a frontier market. So anything that you think a startup company might need in a frontier market, you can reach out to me and we can see how we can be done. And it usually can. So when you're and this is for, I guess, the veteran community and also people in defense. So when you're working in a frontier market in an austere environment, there are a lot of things that you will need, and our site does have to be prepped before we can put in our platform on the ground. It does have to be prepped. It has to be leveled. um, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're maybe even an engineering company or whatever, there is room for your products to be included and to be even showcased as we use them when we're prepping the site. All right, so let's move on. Okay, and again, if you want a long form business plan, you can reach out to me. My name is Claire Sengiyumva. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and there should be an email in this document here. I'm going to share this document. There should be an email. There we go. So this is the email, contact@terraledger.us. I hope you can see this really well right here. Contact@terraledger.us. Yeah, so that is all I wanted to share with you guys, which is really an overview of what Terra Ledger is. What do? We facilitate in-country processing of critical minerals. How do we do that? We build processing platforms with the help of the University of New Hampshire, specifically the John Olson Advanced Manufacturing Center. If you're a company in defense manufacturing or engineering, and you want to sponsor Terra Ledger so we can use your equipment or we can use your materials or your logo. So that package that goes for 50,000 USD per year. So for the next couple of days, I have changed that to $250 in honor of our 250th anniversary. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or by email. That's all I have for now. Thank you for watching this video and happy birthday, America.